happy day. We're not the same men and women. I really, really miss my legal pad. I had mentioned earlier that if I say much, things happen in my world. And had no problem since July of 2019 with some people that do some work for me and work that physically my doctor doesn't want me to do anymore. It's pulling the trees out of the rock beds here, and that way they don't spray the Roundup, because I was exposed to Agent Orange in Alabama. The entire city of Anniston was paid due to defoliant poisoning. I'm positive that's why my granddaughter has these health problems. Sorry, that triggered some strong feelings. So they don't spray the docks, and I don't want to expound on this, because, like I said, it just, there's a reason we're told you have the right to remain silent, and I think I better. So, anyways, yeah, that's what this was about. No problem since July of 2019. Turn my back on these two. Don't have to worry about things disappearing out of the restroom if they use the restroom or anywhere. Not had a single problem. I mentioned that in a video. And what happens? I surprise this person coming around, one of the two people, in the act. Now, that's never good. Things can go from bad to worse when you catch a thief going about thieving. And I've confronted him that when you come, don't bring me anything. Here's the problem. Okay, dumpster diving. You have no idea sometimes what you'll find in a dumpster. Sometimes things that'll horrify you. Sometimes things you're like, I can't believe this is in the dumpster. All right? And it's positive. So I told him, I said, I understand. I'm not saying you're a thief, I told this person. This is the one of the two that I caught in the act, and it's never good to catch a thief, and yeah, that's not good. I said, look, it's not, instead of work, you're wanting to come by and bring things and see, hey, and I need this. Bartering's great. But here's the problem. I don't know that you got it out of a dumpster. And if I accept any property from you, and it's, you have to, hey, just respect the fact when I don't know, and with what I do know, I'm just not comfortable. And he's brought some really nice things around, although he mostly blows smoke like most people with a drug problem. And I've asked him before, don't upset me. So I caught him in the act. And he's going downhill. See, he won't admit what kind of drugs he's on. He thinks, deny. So that's what happened today. And so now I've got to address that. I'm just very thankful that as a woman, that I didn't get hurt. I'm already hurting plenty. By the way, I'd like to reiterate, pain is how we know we're still alive. So I had to talk to him. And just between You and I, boys and girls, I don't ever like talking to a man the way I had to speak to this young man. No, I did, not real dramatic, but it was just, you know. And I told him, I said, you could pick me up, even though he's starting to really, really, really go downhill from his drug abuse. And that's what it is. He's abusing his temple. I know. I abuse my temple. I smoke cigarettes. I'm on my second cup of coffee. And a bowl. I had a bowl. That's how I cope with the pain. And by the way, I had no idea I was so high in chemistry. when I was just like, really? I got those kind of scores in chemistry? I had no idea. I just, funny what you don't pay attention to. So, I'm on my second cup of coffee, and yeah, had a bowl. I was smoking. And he keeps trying to tell me, just a bud, man, just a bud. No, the bud doesn't collapse the person's face. This man was a hunk, okay? And, but it was always, but see, I gave his, one of the things I did, they came around wanting stuff, and I thought, okay, I've got this smartphone that I had this discussion with my phone carrier that they did a bait and switch on me. And that's another story. So she did some work for me. She's really great about getting the dust mop under the king-size bed. And yes, it's a king-size bed. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't need to learn what a king-size bed is. Yeah, there we go, protesting too much, you know who. So she gets my dust mop. Got this really neat dust mop. Because I always ask my home health care workers. Yeah, that's right. That's another thing you told on yourself about, Mr. You know who. I sent him to the store with, I said, here, you go into the store for me. Pick out what you think you'd like, to make your work easier here. So I've cleaned homes. I've cleaned homes for a living. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So, she's kind of person that's like, she does something. She does it correctly, and I really admire that about his lady. I really admire that. I appreciate that. And she'd get under the bed with that dust mop. So, and I had some things that are very hard for me to do, and they need to be done. Whether I can do them or not, they're still my responsibility. That is called adulting. So, I give her this smartphone because they said, okay, it's on us, as we were in arbitration. I admit, I was aggressing on these people as far as my language. I was aggressive because no one, it's under the Universal Commercial Code. Bait and switch. So I've got this phone that I'm not going to use, and she was crying that, hey, something about a big knife they had down. They've got these homeless camps here. Big knife's missing. They got her phone. They got this and they got that. So I asked her, I said, I'm really cash poor. I'm on a fixed income. And you said something about your phone was stolen. And I said, she was like delighted. So yeah, it'd make me a lot happier than this small amount of cash you can afford and this food. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't mind helping people, but the boundaries between myself and these people, is my point, was good. And it just could be the progression of what's going on, but they understood. Don't burn your bridge with heavy. Don't burn your bridge with heavy. And I've told them that from day one. You burn your bridge when you're having a bad day. And I don't sit down and talk down to them and treat them like dirt. Why did it flip? Why did I catch him right after saying it? Gee, I don't know. That would be speculative. Okay? Conjecture. So I would love to be more positive and loving, but as a woman, when I'm confronted with men, and I'm kind and I'm loving, as a rule, a blanket covering everything, that's not good for that. That doesn't keep me safe as a woman. As a woman, when someone is inappropriate with boundaries, it's a balancing act to not be reactive, which is overreacting, insulting, escalating. There's just so many words that come to my mind, and because I get these long pauses because the physicality has been damaged, which is different. The brain and the mind are not the same. Okay? I know this. I've known this since I was a child. So make fun of me all you want. I get there, I just get there slower, okay? But I get there. But going back to this other issue, I can't be lovey-dovey sweet all the time. And it's a real balancing act, although my preference as a woman is I'm not confused. Is I know what works to keep me safe as a woman. And for me, it's my interpretation. When I say, well, don't throw pearl before swine, I'm not, that's about me. If someone else has a different faith, I don't need to escalate, fight, argue, beat him up. It's like my neighbor Jax, the religious, unclean spirit she has. With the, you're going to hell, Levy. When she's hired in a kite coming down here, and boy, let me tell you, you don't even know. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what's happening here. But I know what works because I've been on the receiving end of violence, and I've seen and heard things that I've had many fellow vets tell me, hey, that's worse than when I was live in Vietnam. What you've been through, what's going on in the streets of this country. And I was like, whoa, someone that can understand trauma. It literally, that's right, I have trouble with my speech. Well, that's another interesting thing. Someone recently was screaming and yelling that when they met me that I only had some of my teeth. Oh boy, not observant. I don't have any teeth. And my dentures are ill-fitting. But that's because of the acute maxillofacial injuries. And I told my husband, I don't need you to help me pay for implants. I don't want to implant anything that could interact with the frequencies. At least I can pull these out, clean them up. When you have implants, whether they're individual or... Never mind. I have dentures. So how could I have a mouth that has only partial teeth and that I must have been... You know what? My medical jacket. My medical jacket. That's why I tell you, I'll meet you in any courtroom anytime. But going back to the start of this little vid, I can't, as a woman. Kindness is perceived as weakness, and correct a fool, receive a blot. It works for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm giving my testimony that about when I'm talking about me, not someone else. That works for me. And I'm not going to waffle. I'm not lukewarm. I'm all in. Oh, I got blocked too. Got blocked by someone that I've been really struggling about this channel. Oh boy, you talk about feeling so conflicted knowing that there's information I need that I don't have. No, I think I've got that information now, and I could be wrong, you know, not making accusations. I need to do a video on reverse speech. It's as interesting as handwriting analysis is. So I just thought I'd say, correct a fool, receive a blot. And to those that it matters, I apologize for being slow. And I do thank you. And I respect your right to think for yourself. And I'm glad you do. I'm so encouraged. I've always said, well, you just have to think for yourself. God bless you and bye-bye.